Hello, and welcome back to Nick Reads here on StoriesHouse.com. I'm Nick, and yeah, this segment was something I said I was going to do every week, and I didn't, but I'm going to try and get back to it. Pay no attention to the giant emanating light right there. That's the light on my wall, and it's there. I'm going to have to deal with it if you want to see me during this video. Also, we've got a bulldog right there. That's our really cool wall decoration in our bedroom. Well, today I'm going to read you a little something that I wrote earlier this summer. It's an excerpt from my way too long summation of the month of May, aptly titled, I've Got the Month of May. That's the only singing I'm going to do in this one. You're not going to have to hear any rapping or singing in this one. But I felt that I've Got the Month of May was a little bit too long, and a lot of you guys might not have wanted to read the whole thing. So I'm going to read you a quick little snippet that was my favorite part of it, and let's see what happens. When I tune you in, this will be in medias res, as is often said. I hope you enjoy. You see, I was with a few friends at our local rec center. We were trying to play a few games of 2-on-2 basketball. The games are almost never fair, but we had fun for two reasons. The first was that we have fun playing basketball, and the second and main reason was because we're nerds and we can make fun out of bizarre situations. So here's the thing. There were some young children at the rec center that day, and of course when I say young children, I mean freshmen in high school. As you likely know, and definitely remember, high school freshmen are the worst. 14-year-olds are the scourge of society, and these little chitlins were no exception. There are a limited number of courts at the rec center, but, well, there are actually 2, and those 2 have a total of 6 baskets each, but in all truth, there are no more than 4 games that can be going on at any time, so sometimes larger parties either have to break up or play pickup games, while smaller parties, such as ours, could vulture single baskets and lock down a corner. Now, the little hellhounds were circling the only way 14-year-old boys know how to. By that, I mean they were lobbing senseless threats and insults in the direction of me and my 3 friends. They obviously weren't trying to provoke me. I'm 6'3" and 215 pounds, and I've got a beard. I'm scary, but I kind of told them to provoke me. Here's the thing. I improvised a Letterman-esque top 10 list of things they should make fun of me for, just to give them ammunition. They really appreciated it, actually. Somehow they actually missed my comically large ears, and they were really happy to pick on me for that. But, they much preferred to make fun of how poor I am at basketball. It was extremely evident that day that I'm a subpar basketball player, and by subpar, I mean phenomenally poor. So they picked on me, and they picked on a couple of my friends, and, okay, the highlight of the affair had to be when they picked on one of my friends for being Indian, despite the fact that he wasn't Indian, and there was a group of Indian people sitting right next to them within earshot who really would have taken offense to the things they were saying. But I digress. I let them play their games because I was playing mine. But when I tired of the championship bout worth of reverse sarcasm I'd left on the floor, their shtick had gone cold. So, you know what, they went to the other side of the court, and all was peaceful until I heard one of the little infants yell, "Well, my balls are bigger!" So I turned my head to see my non-Indian friend already halfway down the court, breaking up a fight forming between one of the most vocal of the youngins and a player from another game. Though the 2 people claimed they were the same age, the aggressor, my bully, was a solid 8 inches shorter than the person who claimed his balls were smaller than his. It was complicated as hell. The 2 thoughts that crossed my mind there were, first, I really wondered if my friends and I were that bad at talking smack when we were their age. I mean, when did the phrase, "you're a pussy," followed by, "then show me your balls and prove it," qualify as taunting? I mean, when you're saying that sort of phrase, you're kind of straddling a fine line between fighting and, child pornography. But the second thought that crossed my mind was, oh crap, that kid's about to die. I really should step in here. But the thing was, no matter how many times I stepped in, the whirling dervish just wouldn't stop trying to fight. I had to stop playing games. I had to. I was in the middle of just preventing this kid from having his head bashed in. And And stopping was difficult for me, and I don't mean stopping the fight, I mean literally stopping because I had pulled a muscle in my butt bowling earlier in the week because I'm an athlete. But anyway, one of his friends stopped me and asked me why I kept breaking up the fight. I responded I didn't want to see someone get killed. It's a reason to break up a fight. But also I pointed to the sign on the wall over there that said, "Fighting may result in a 1-year suspension." No one ever enforces that, but he laughed at my sincerity. But later on the day, as I was walking, I was talking to one of my good friends, and I told him I thought of what I should have said. And here it is. You know why I don't want to see a fight today? You really want to know, kid? Well, here it is. I just wish someone was here to tell me to break up a fight when I was your age. Because if there was someone like me a few years back, I could have avoided all the hardship I've faced. You see, kid, I was never one to get in fights, but I had a good friend who was. He wasn't as good of a fighter as he once was, but the kid had more confidence in himself than anyone I'd ever met. He'd never back down from a challenge. And there was this one day we were at a place a lot like this one. And this is tough. We were at a place a lot like this one, and he saw this kid. He wanted to fight him. Dude was a lot bigger than him. He told me not to break up the fight. I wanted to. He told me not to stop him. He looked me dead in the eyes, and he said, no matter what. He said, no matter what, I should not stop him. I had his back, but I could tell he was in over his head. The big brute just kept hitting him and 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 hitting him. And before I could even yell out his name, that Eastern European menace had knocked out my best friend cold. I was terrified. The towel fell straight out of my hands. Stared the other guy in the eyes. He looked back at me. And with no emotion he said it. If he dies, he dies. Yeah, I know, that's a long way for a Rocky IV reference. I understand it, but I'm not going to pass up the opportunity to do it. So this ran longer than I'm expected. I hope you watched the whole thing, but stay tuned here on Stories House for more Nick Reads in the future. Goodbye.